You're just talking about
So
wine,
yeah,
or
so
do you
let
want me
me.
to talk about wine with cheese? Oh,
Okay, so we'll talk about the wines and then we'll pair them with the cheeses. Not
okay,
necessarily the cheeses today, but in general.
okay. What am I supposed to say about wine? Okay, so there are so many different types of wine that you can have. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of wines produced all around the world. I think here in Barbados we have a pretty good cross section of some top brands and of some very good quality wines. I know that with the local demographic, there has been an insurgence of people drinking wine just because now there is accessibility to the sweeter profiles of wine,
The Zinfandel?
like like the white Zinfandels and the sweet Malbecs and the Moscatos, etc.
Oh, you just could not leave it there. You just couldn't
No,
leave it there.
I'm just saying, and it's
And the
okay.
rosette?
And the blushes, because roses tend to be on the drier side of the palate.
I love my
But
Barbadian people.
but you know what? I love it because when I got into this business over 10 years ago, the average Barbadian was not drinking wine because the perception that was that all wines are very dry. And I always like to tell people, even when you say a wine is dry, it doesn't mean that it's absolutely dry or with devoid of taste. This white wine that we're sipping right now, even though it's dry, it does have some nice pleasant fruit on it, so it makes it easy to drink. So I am very encouraged by the fact that Barbadians have at least started with the sweeter profile of
And
wine,
then working
and
their
then they're
way.
going to evolve over time and try wines such as this one, which is a balance between sweet and dry, and very easy to drink. And we're seeing that, and I'm loving it. So yes, you have the sweet, but then you have the drier styles that have a lot of fruit, like this white wine, in particular. And then yes, everybody's into rosés as well. So the more sophisticated wine drinker is now coming into rosé, and it works very, very well for this climate, which is particularly hot, humid. So if you're drinking wine during the day, you want something that's light and refreshing. So you find a lot of people drinking rosés such as this one. And then you always have the red wine drinkers, the people who perceive that you must drink red wine. And I'm, by practice, I am a red wine drinker. I drink every type of wine, well, for the most part, but red wine is my favorite. It is good for you. It does have some health benefit, although it doesn't give health benefits until you get to a certain age group. So I'm sorry to disappoint people who believe that if you keep drinking red wine every day and you're below the age of 40, that is going to really, really help you. It doesn't really give you health benefits until you're like, for a woman postmenopausal, and for a man over 40. I did not make that up. That's what
So
the
I
World
gotta
Health
start.
Organization
So I gotta start
says.
drinking wine
No, it's,
after 40.
you know what?
Nah, it's sticking with the vodka.
What it is that wine is good for you in moderation. I like to disclose that in moderation. More
Drink
so than
responsibly.
very much drink responsibly and very much don't drink and drive. We have to be careful not only for ourselves but for everyone else in our environment. But drinking red wine is good for you. A glass or two a day is pretty good. I find it's very relaxing. It helps people to thaw out after a long day. I find that people here are having higher and higher stress levels because we're working harder. We have more to think about. We're concerned about more things, which I won't touch. I'm leaving all the things that we're
Oh
stressed
yes,
about
yeah.
and
We
concerned
the
about.
whole island is just stress.
We're stressed, but we can take solace in a nice glass,
In a large glass of wine.
in one nice glass of wine. At the end of the day, it really does kind of settle your nerves. It helps you to unwind. You know, if you have your significant other, have a chat with them, or watch a good program on television, or eat some popcorn like Olivia Pope with it. But yeah, just do it responsibly, and you'll feel better and motivated for the next day.
Okay, so we'll be back with Michelle and Denise, and we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more of wines and cheese on Tea Time with Greg.
and Dad get home, I feel like I'm forgetting something. But what could it be?
I have to remember to do everything.
Oh, babe, look. Jay remembered to start the washer.
Jay?
He is so responsible.
I wish Kyla could be more like him.
What?
I did the laundry.
Really? Tell me about that.
The new Kenmore Smart Washer and Dryer. Be smart, be connected, be amazing. Exclusively at Sears.
Michelle, Hatchman Cheeses palette selection. Thank you for joining me. So we're gonna go over to some cheeses and we're gonna try some samples because we were sipping the wines beforehand. So
Responsibly.
Yeah, whatever. And so we can discuss some cheeses now. So what cheeses do you have for us today?
Well, we have today, we have the goat cheeses. As I said, we have the herb goat cheese, the fresh goat cheese, and the rosemary goat cheddar.
Which one you like?
Oh, I like the herb goat cheese. I think I had the rosemary cheddar before as well. Yes, they're really, really good.
So yes, it's
So
in here.
Really, really good.
Yes, into bits. So
See, I
for
have had
here,
the pleasure of actually doing some wine and cheese events over the last, say, 6 months to a year. And very fortunately, I've always used Hatchman's cheeses where I could to pair with the wine selection.
So since I'm the
Novice.
virgin here.
Yes, you're the novice. You go. You
No,
go.
I'm the virgin. So yeah, I'll take my virginity
Go there
today.
first.
so this is the fresh
so-
goat cheese.
This?
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
A little tart in the back of my throat, but maybe it's the wine. Just kidding. No, it's a little tart for me in the back of my throat, but it has a nice creamy texture,
And
which I
smooth.
actually like.
Yeah.
See what you should do before you move on, then, so that we can understand how wine and cheese pairing works.
Have a
So
wine.
sip the
Is
wine.
that you've had the cheese by itself, so you taste the cheese by itself. You've actually tasted the wine before.
Yeah.
Now taste the wine with the cheese and see what is the change.
Ooh.
So
So get another piece of cheese and then have a sip of wine together.
it actually kind of mellows out that tart in the back of my throat.
Correct.
So it made it a lot more smooth actually.
And the wine is also less acidic.
Ah, that makes sense.
So what
At least I
happens-
think.
Yeah.
It sounds
Well-
like it makes sense.
The theory is with food and wine pairing, and I guess by extrapolation, cheese is a food. So the idea with pairings is that you pair like with like. We always talk about white foods with white wines and red foods with red wines. And at the basic level, that works. But it gets a little bit more complex than that. You're actually pairing weights together and certain characteristics together. So with regards to the cheese you just tried, goat's cheeses, pure goat's cheeses are usually quite acidic. It is a natural characteristic of them. If you pair fresh goat cheese with a wine that is also equal, has a certain level of acidity, equal amount of acidity,
So they-
it is almost like the acidity is
balanced.
kind of marry together and then just disappear. So what it does is it actually frees up more of the taste profile of the cheese as well as the wine. The wine tends to get a bit more fruit forward because you're no longer focusing on the acidity, and then you're actually tasting all of the natural characteristics of the goat's milk and whatever would have been used to convert the goat's milk into
I'm not really a
cheese.
goat cheese type of guy. I like cheddars and
Right.
like Stilton, no. Blue cheese, no.
Okay.
Camembert or brie, probably. And a mature cheddar, yes. You have mature cheddars? Or
No,
not
we
yet?
have brie. But the cheese, it's mature cheddar,
The drunken?
The drunken and the Scotch bonnet are aged cheeses.
Okay, good. So that's my thing there. I love a cheddar.
Yeah.
That tart I like. That bite from the maturity of it. I like that taste. The sharper it is,
The better.
the better for me.
Well, the sharper is the more complexity you're
So we're
offering.
moving on to
The rosemary
Rosemary.
goat cheddar.
try not to look licorice.
Okay.
Trying.
How's that working out for you? I actually want to try that one again.
It's interesting in taste, but it's a little dry for me in my mouth. It's almost like I have to gain moisture to chew properly. So I guess this is something where I would try again now with the wine, same wine as well.
Well, I'm thinking because now that I've tasted that one, the rosemary is quite a dominant flavor. So you
But
might
it's-
need
it's
something
dominant,
a little,
but
a little
heavier.
heavier. Yeah, because again, we're matching weights. So whereas this white wine, I would usually pair with the herb goat cheese. Because the herbs in this herb goat cheese are a little softer, probably more like the thyme,
Yeah.
But
etc.
I still got.
So yes, happy. For me, I just did the pairing, and the pairing is not bad, but I think that the rosé might actually give it a bit more support.
of a oomph.
Yeah, it would give it some more support because of the dominance of the rosemary in that particular cheese. style.
Somewhere in the compartment of my head that makes sense as well.
Well, it does make. The thing is that I recently did a wine and cheese event on Sunday, and what did we do? We did the herb goat cheese, and we also did the drunken cheddar. But I actually paired the drunken cheddar with the rosé, just because cheddars tend
The
to be bigger.
Zinfandel?
No, it wasn't Zinfandel.
I
This
can't
is an
resist.
this was an
I can't
Italian
resist.
rosé. It's an Italian rosé, so of the drier style, not absolutely dry, but drier style. And it gave it so much support because cheddars tend to be bigger cheeses. Now this one is not going to be as big as the drunken cheddar, just because the goat's milk is lighter in practice than the cow's milk. But I think the rosemary itself is what would need the support from the rosé. So try the actual herb goat cheese and then the white wine, and you'll see how the pairing works well. I want one too. It's not playing with me.
Yeah, it's not having it.
Yeah, I can't. But I love it.
I actually prefer this over the first goat cheese.
Yeah.
The fresh goat cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually wasn't bad, but the texture this is slightly different, and the taste, salt and pepper is just not the only seasoning on the planet.
No,
Just saying.
Yeah.
But by adding a slight flavor to it, so it adds a little something other than being bland for the back of my throat.
What I would say in terms of the cheeses, like for example, some people may not like the cheeses. For example, you don't like this cheese by itself. But if you pair it with something, you can crumble it in a salad, add a flavor to
Yeah.
it. I tell people, make the cheese your own.
Are they thinking about crumbling, thinking feta?
Taking
Yeah,
fat.
but you can
You know,
crumble
I'm saying,
it.
but
Yeah.
because of the saltiness as well.
Yeah.
Well, having to add any more salt
Yeah.
to the meal when you're watching. Yeah,
You're
so
watching your figure.
yeah.
Well, I would actually tell you that I personally purchased the herb goat cheese, and I have it in an omelette with caramelized onions
Oh wait, she fancy.
She's making it. He's making it her own. She's making it her own.
Just leave me alone, right? Leave me alone. But it works so well because what happens as well is that obviously you're doing your omelette, you caramelize your onions, so there's a slight bit of sweetness, and sometimes I like to leave it with a little crunch if I can. And you put it in the egg.
Crimpsy.
It's a bit crunchy. And then I put the goat cheese in blobs, and what happens is it melts. And it distributes throughout the omelette, and so every time you take a bite, there's just this creaminess that's mixing with that slight sweetness, like crunch, and
I'll try that.
it's so yummy. It's really, really good. And then you can drink a glass of wine with that during breakfast as well.
So when is a good time and when is not a good time to drink wine? Let me be. Breakfast can't be.
Yes, you can.
No, but just say.
You can have a
for
glass
all
of sparkling wine
don't
for
go and tell those
breakfast.
personally. Yes.
I'm not telling them to do that. I'm just saying, listen. My mantra is, and this is really terrible. This
So
is not me
brunch,
as a
brunch,
professional.
brunch.
This is me personally. It's always 5 o'clock somewhere in the world.
Oh,
But
that's the lamest excuse.
but it's the
But
truth.
it is the truth.
It is the truth. But I personally, if you're having a breakfast setting, and I'm not talking about every single day because clearly no one wants to go to work with just that little buzz inside of their head. You're having a day off, or you have the weekend, you get up and you have a lovely breakfast with scrambled eggs and smoked salmon and maybe a croissant, maybe a bagel, or maybe it's simpler than that. It's okay.
Good Lord, have
It
mercy.
could be simpler than
What is
that.
woman doing to me? This seriously, the omelet with the cheese melting, no,
Just
croissant.
saying.
And not a croissant, a croissant.
Croissant,
And
French, I'm
with,
just saying.
with smoked salmon and
Smoked
capers.
salmon. Yes, of course. What's the point? And cream cheese on that bagel. Just saying. But the thing is that in the morning, people tend to have a bubbly. If they're gonna have that breakfast
The mimosa.
setting, you could have a mimosa, which is just orange juice and sparkling wine, preferably champagne, or you could do it with strawberries or with peaches. But make it nice and light and fun. There's nothing wrong with having a nice glass of bubbly first thing in the
So
morning.
then that a breakfast,
on
or
your
you more
day
do it
off.
for a brunch?
Or brunch,
A
yeah.
brunch.
It could be brunch as well. Obviously, with brunch, you have more substantial foods. There's no perfect time for drinking wine. There's no preference. You know, some people say, well, they only drink white or rosé during the day and red at night. And I guess most people do that here because of the climate and the heat. And red wine does tend to raise your blood temperature a little more. Well, sorry, all wine do, but the alcohol content in the red wine is a bit higher, and so you tend to get a little warmer internally. So people would then prefer.
Because it's also at room temperature as well?
Well, okay, I want to do this. Room temperature, because this is a big.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying because that's what people think is
Red wine, room temperature for red wine is not Barbadian climate temperature. It needs to be
Okay.
slightly chilled, somewhere between 14 and 18 degrees Celsius, because there is no winemaking country this close to the equator or with this level of heat. So when you have the wine very, very warm, it makes the alcohol even more evident. So it's not, you can't enjoy it, and you want the balance of the fruit and, you know, the tannins, aka the things that tie up your mouth, as Bajans like to say. And yes, you want to enjoy the alcohol, but you want it to be a pleasant experience. So please lightly chill your wine, your red wine, before you drink it, and then you can have it during the
don't
day.
go to nobody place
Oh,
and not fat and not event and have her own.
What he said. Exactly what he said.
Right, so on that note, we're going to take another break and we'll be back with more about the cheeses this time. So we'll have Denise take a little break and we'll be back with Michelle. You're watching Tea Time with Greg.
I got 2 minutes, right?
What time do mom and dad get home? I feel like I'm forgetting something. But what could it be?
I have to remember to do everything.
Oh, babe, look. Jay remembered to start the washer.
Jay?
He is so responsible.
I wish Kylie could be more like him.
What?
I did the laundry.
Really? Tell me about that.
The new Kenmore Smart Washer and Dryer. Be smart, be connected, be amazing. Exclusively at Sears.
Welcome back. If people only knew what usually happens behind the scenes when we go to commercial break, it's priceless. But Michelle, so is there anything else you could tell us about the cheeses of Hatchman? Is there anything that's coming new, or that's the secret, that the new stuff that's coming and you don't want to go and talk about Andrea business?
Well, at the moment, we are working on trying to get a guava cheese up and going, and we are also going to be looking into other recipes with cheeses. As I said, we experiment and as we go along.
And the demand, if the demand is there,
The thing is about Hatchman cheese, we have a huge following. As soon as the cheese goes on the shelf, it is gone. Basically, we have a very big fan club. They're like, oh, I can't believe they have cheeses in Barbados. I mean, like, it's so amazing. You guys are doing such a really good job.
we're just known for Sansi and Sans, so to hear that we got cheeses,
Yes.
it's like,
Fancy salmon
Yeah.
cheese now.
Yeah,
that don't ring.
yeah.
Even the other S works.
Okay.
Just say that's the wine talking, people. That's the wine. So you're experimenting with the different types of local grown products.
grown products and stuff. Because not everything you cannot pair with cheese. Everything you cannot mix with, I would say, like goat cheese or the cow's nut cheese.
How about
you
golden
have
apple?
Sounds like an interesting
Sounds
flavor. Probably will think about it, but we haven't looked at golden
Oh,
apple.
especially if you like boil the golden apple, insert, and then you put
gooseberry.
it in little like bits, like little
Gooseberry,
diced bits.
not the actual syrups, gooseberry syrup type thing, but do it forming a way to adding like the sweet and salty to the gooseberry so that the taste is there. So royalties.
I did. I
did.
No, because that comes from my chef background as well, in terms of how to. And I watched enough Beat Bobby Flay.
Oh, you could do tamarind cheese. That could be interesting. Like with a tamarind syrup. Yes. Think about it.
How about anything spreadable? You have spreadable
that's true.
cheeses. What about something? Because for me, if you did a tamarind thing, I think that has to be something more spreadable. If I had to put that in a sandwich or something, so it's more of a spreadable cheese that way. If so, Andrea, we'll talk.
Well, in terms of spreadable cheeses, we have the herb goat cheese and the fresh goat cheese. The soft goat cheese that are really great for spreading them on a bagel, if you want to spread them on a cracker or anything like that. So these are our spreadable cheeses, the soft ones, right?
But I guess some people will not know to spread it unless they see on the container spreadable cheese. Some people are kind of literal in that sense. So I'm not saying that it's thing, but some people are like, oh, they got the hard cheese, they see it in the wrapper, so that cheese hard. Well, not, it is a soft, creamy cheese. The average person, I don't think, knows that you can spread it unless it's in a tub, like butter, sort of, you know what I mean? So maybe the packaging might have to be different so that the perception of what can be done with it could be different.
And the application as well would be
Exactly,
more
so-
extensive. Yeah.
But It is what it is. So, but I think if we did the tamarind sounds very
Ooh,
interesting.
Can I tell you what I did with the cheese once?
This is
Application.
PG-13.
No. Right in the kitchen. Because I've been on this, it's his fault. I was on this fitness program before, and I wanted to have something creamy, but I couldn't use cream. I can't use cream.
Where is this going?
Cow's milk based cream, heavy cream.
They're shaking her head. Yeah. You know.
Because she's paying attention. But I wanted to do like a sweet potato au gratin. And I wanted to do it with a creamy sauce.
Man, there's Teatime, a great idea. It's Food Network.
Listen, we're talking about application of cheeses. And then I can tell you what wine I had in it too. And so what I did is I actually took the herb goat cheese and mixed a bit of wine with it. And I know I wasn't supposed to use milk, but I did. But just to loosen it a bit and use it as a cream sauce to layer with the sweet potato. And then I used some saltfish as well. I made a nice little au gratin. So you see, you can do more with the cheese
That's
and just spread it
interesting.
on
Yeah.
bread or eat it with crackers. PG-13, and it was really, really good. It was really good.
So we're gonna have another show called Beat Denise.
No, you can't. You could beat me. Everybody could beat me.
Not beat Bobby Flay.
No,
beat
but we were just talking about stepping outside the box.
Exactly. So the versatility of cheese. So that's the key.
And I found that to be so good because even when I had the sorrel goat cheese during Christmas, because I got lots of it, and I did so many different things with it. I mean, I even put it in an omelette. So even though the sorrel goat cheese obviously is a little sweeter, it's nice to have like a contrast of flavors. So the omelette itself was, a little savory. The sorrel goat cheese was sweet. It was so good. There's something wrong with your
Error. Error.
Well, spread it on a bagel then. There you go.
Yeah.
You can have it on a bagel.
The egg for me, I think of certain tastes and certain flavors. So that sweet, it can't work. Everybody's palate is different. Clearly, palate selection. So everybody's palate is different, but for me, what comes to mind, I won't gravitate to so much sweet with an omelet.
Right.
So that's not my first.
That's okay. I can have it by myself.
So tell me, firstly, lots of people watch people on TV. First of all, how do you hold a wine glass?
Oh boy, thanks. I love when people ask me that.
How do you hold a wine glass?
We don't do this. We never do this. This is wrong. Let me tell you what.
So you warm it.
You're warming the wine.
You're warming the wine.
People don't think about it. They see other people doing this, and so they think it's right, and it's not. There's no way in hell this is right. This is right when you're drinking.
That's lazy.
It's just, you know what? It's right for cognac. It's right for whiskey. It's right for those spirits that you tend to drink at a warmer temperature because you'll heat them up. With a wine glass, essentially what you're supposed to do, you see this portion here that I'm indicating is called a stem. And the whole point of having a stem is so you can hold the glass with it. So you can take 3 or 4 fingers and place around the stem of the glass. As many fingers as you want that will make you feel nice and secure with it. Because obviously you don't want to walk around and then you stumble.
And go snap.
Exactly. If that is not, a good position for you to hold the glass in, you can take your pinky finger and use it as a support under the base of the glass.
I've never held it like this.
You can actually take just 2 fingers at the base of the stem, and then all the other fingers come under the base of the glass.
The pinky actually isn't bad.
No, it isn't. The pinky, and it looks so classy. And the idea is, as I say to people,
hold up my pinky too, right?
You can hold up your pinky so that we could think we're drinking tea, but we could do it a little higher.
Yeah.
But the idea is you just want to minimize your interaction between your body and the wine, because your body is very hot. We're very hot creatures. And we lose our temperature, or we lose our heat, I should say, at the top of our heads, the palms of our hand, and the soles of our feet. So when we do this, we're literally cooking the wine. And wine is meant to be at a certain temperature, especially the white wine. You want it nice and pleasantly chilled. You want your champagne to be well chilled. And then you want that your red wine is cool. So when you do that, all you're doing is heating it up.
But
So
I
a little
see,
bit
I
is
see a lot of
wrong.
people do that, especially
But it's
when.
wrong, and they don't know that it's wrong. And oftentimes I'll see somebody doing something like that wrong, but I have to decide, is this a person who will take the constructive criticism, or is it that I should leave it alone? And sometimes I just leave it alone. And then I hope that as I'm walking around and doing it like this, that people, because they perceive me to be a wine aficionado or specialist, which is more accurate, that I'm doing this, so this is right.
So, my mother and I were having this conversation this morning. The actual word for the person who is the specialist when it comes to wines is pronounced
Which,
sommelier.
the sommelier?
Sommelier?
Sommelier.
Okay. We come from, I say it's French, so I speak
So
Belgian.
it's more sommelier, which is it's a French word, obviously.
Yeah.
And it is pretty much a wine specialist, but there's a certain level of certificate in my world. There's a certain level of certification that you would need and experience to qualify as a sommelier. So when people ask me if that's what I am, I say no, because even though I know quite a bit about wine, there's always so much more to learn, and I'm not certified to do that. I would prefer to address myself as a specialist until further notice, when I do further education on it. And then I can assume titles. But oftentimes we like to throw titles. And sometimes we don't understand titles, and it's not everybody's forte. It's not their industry, so they don't know. But I try wherever possible, whenever I'm interacting with people, to correct them and enlighten them, so that you're in a better space, you're more knowledgeable. Because you can't make better decisions or do better things if you don't have the knowledge for it. Yeah.
Especially when you're drinking some wine.
Yeah, and the thing is, you could drink wine. You know, there's no special way to drink wine. Obviously, there are recommendations that one will make so that you can enjoy the wine at its best. But there's no special time, there's no special set of people, there's no special circumstances. Obviously, you don't do it if you're pregnant.
But in
or
Barbados, we
medication,
need
blah, blah,
no
blah.
reason to drink. You go to a funeral, we drink. We have a party, we drink.
It's 5 o'clock in the evening.
You're upset, you drink.
Oh yeah, for
You're
sure.
angry, you drink.
You're happy.
You're happy and
You
you're
drink.
celebrating something.
You give birth to a
drink.
child and
You
somebody
drink.
else drink it.
Birthday party, you buy the drinks. I don't get that, but let's stay focused. Your birthday, you buy the drinks.
No,
we need to
you
fix
just
that.
need to change the rules.
we need to
really.
fix that.
Yeah, we need
so
to change
no
the
matter the
rules.
reason, we end up drinking. So
Yeah.
that's a part of our culture. So I
Yeah.
think you're right that we don't need a specific time.
No.
So we need no time to have some cheese, and we need no time to have some wine.
And you know what? One of the things that I've been suggesting over the recent years, we always get together and lime for all types of reasons. But we can do different limes. So having a wine and cheese party is a great way to
But
have a good time with your
You don't hear people
friends.
say that real bougie.
But what is bougie?
I agree
You
with
see,
this,
here's
yeah.
the thing. It's always about experiences. And I always say to people, there's no limitation on who can have an experience. There's no one person or one socioeconomic bracket that can have a wine and cheese party. Why should only one type of people or one set of people enjoy the spoils of life? This is life. And once we do everything in moderation and responsibly, we should be all able to enjoy ourselves. We might all do it at very different budgets, but we can all have a wine and cheese party, or we could do it by ourselves. Just go to the supermarket, pick up a cheese, then call a wine specialist like myself and say, hey, I've just bought this cheese. What's a good wine that I can get? And I can make a recommendation. Or any of your wine specialist friends or anyone you know in the wine industry, and you just go home and have a great evening with your cheese, your wine, some crackers, no fruit, and there's a reason why I said that. And just have a good time. It's the experience, and I think we all deserve good experiences.
Michelle, so have you had lots of those parties with your friends? How do your friends react to the cheeses? And you ask them to experience something new?
Okay, I would say in terms of the cheese experience, as I said, it's a different experience for everyone, I would say. So, for example, some people may like, if they think it's a little bit bougie for them, they could do dishes that they like. Like we have someone who actually buys cheese from us, the fresh goat cheese, and they put it on a pizza. So you know what? If you don't want it to be all, this bougie wine and cheese party, you could bring it down to what you like to eat. If you just like to have cheese and crackers, you just want to spread it on a pizza, a bagel, a biscuit, anything like that, you can bring it down to whatever you like to do, basically. So I would say with my friends, we would sit down, we have our wine, we have our cheese, and just enjoy yourself. Life is what you make it. The party is what you make it. Just enjoy it.
Well said. So we're going to take a short commercial break and we'll be right back with more tea time with Greg, sipping some wine.
Oh gosh. This is the longest half an hour of my life, or 1 hour of my life.
What time did mom and dad get home?
I can't just go and say.
But what could it be?
Because
This time I trying to focus on myself because I said
I have to remember to do everything.
I wasn't ready.
Jay remembered to start the washer.
Jay?
Is so responsible.
I wish Kylie could be more like him.
What?
I did the laundry.
Really? Tell me about that.
The new Kenmore Smart Washer and Dryer. Be smart, be connected, be amazing. Exclusively at Sears.
Welcome back to Sipping Wine with Greg.
Yes, no more tea time.
No, this is not tea time today. This is all about the wines and cheeses. So cheers.
Cheers, we done cheers. Cheers. And you have to look
Look.
into your eyes,
Yes.
exactly.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Look. And
And cheers. Because otherwise you get 7 years bad luck.
oh, you mean another 5?
Oh, Jesus, take the wheel. Okay, so
No,
back
Jesus,
to wine,
mashed breads.
wine and cheese. Wine
What?
and cheese. Wine and cheese. We're
So you were
focused
saying
today.
about having a party and not to be afraid of trying different cheeses and it not being the bougie experience.
Yeah, so basically, as I said before, people see cheese as this bougie thing. It's only for the rich or the middle
Oh, because
class.
it's not Anchor New Zealand cheddar? Oh, sorry. That was my outside voice. Sorry,
Well-
Misha. I meant to not into
Well, yes, but
That's for macaroni. Sorry, macaroni pie.
macaroni pie. Right.
which you can make with our cheese, of course.
I think so too.
The drunken cheddar and the Scotch
But my
bonnet
thing
jam,
is that,
you know.
like, if you do like a 7 cheese mac and
Ooh.
cheese,
And especially individual.
so
mac
all
and
of these
cheese.
cheeses will work with the cheddar and
Yes.
Parmesan gum in the
And the
sandwich.
creaminess will be so
Creamy.
on.
Exactly.
Oh my God, you're getting me excited.
Yeah.
Can we put some bacon in it too?
You could do, yeah.
No pig.
I want to address something because I, in the last 15 minutes or so that we were chatting about wine and cheese, especially with regards to parties, and as the two individual elements, we keep saying the word bougie. And so I really want you to address this whole idea of bougie. Like, is your perception of wine and cheese something that's bougie? Bougie?
It's just the perception of people.
But why?
Expensive means a certain price bracket, it means a certain type of person. So you're more wealthy. So you feel that only this type of individual can afford it.
Okay.
So the average person that with a mid income is not going to go their way to buy a whole array of cheeses, excuse me, the wine, with a whole array of cheeses and to give your kids when you gotta feed your kids.
No, but you're not necessarily giving them to your kids.
But I'm just saying, I get you, but when
Yeah.
you're economizing,
Okay.
under the current economy, that it's not the greatest. So, it's the wine, don't give me alcohol, don't give me alcohol.
Your next tea time will be tea, for sure, and just tea.
But no, but seriously, so because of the perception of who actually purchased it and
Yeah.
who they see eating it, so it's a thing, it's a stigma that is for a particular type of person, where the whole wine, cheese, and grapes.
Yeah, don't do the
Come.
grapes. The grapes just alter the taste of what you're having with the wine. You're pairing light with light. So, you know, someone asked me, oh, so am I going to get some grapes and strawberries with the selection of cheeses? I said, no, are you going to get dessert wines to pair with them? Because you're talking about sweeter elements. So when you're having sweeter foods, then you should have sweeter wines. In the same way with the sorrel cheese, when I would have used that particular cheese in some wine and cheese tastings, I always used something that was sweeter, like a Moscato or strawberry infused sparkling wine, something of that ilk, because you're trying to make sure that the flavors marry well together and that one thing is not overpowering the other. Well, back to this bougie thing. You know what? I really know, because obviously I'm very passionate about the wine industry and what I do. And I do very much enjoy cheeses. And I understand that, you know, in any time, you have to figure out where your budget is at and you have to economize. But I also want to dispel the myth that wine is only for a certain type of person or a certain ilk of person, and that cheeses are only for a certain type of person. I think people would be very surprised to see what the real prices of like the Hatchman's cheeses
Yeah,
are.
I do
or if
agree.
you go directly to a distributor.
No, and I agree. I
price
see
of
the prices, so
wine.
I know as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the prices of the wines, you don't have to buy a bottle of wine over $30. You don't have to buy it over $25. Sometimes you can find really good wines at $20. And so my thing is that I want to encourage everyone. You might not be able to do it every week or certainly not every day. Maybe you might do it once a month. In the same way that I see Barbadians now actively dining out more, they're drinking wine more, you know, in their own way, enjoying this stuff. I want to encourage people to try things. Don't just say, oh, I can't do it because that's far beyond my reach. Sometimes if you just really look into it, you'd be very surprised that it's not that expensive. You don't have to do it all the time. Just do it once every 3 months. Do something special with your significant other or your family or your friends. And, you know, do
Well,
something different.
Go ahead,
well,
Michelle.
on the topic of the price of the cheese, some of the cheeses, they are like the same price as how they would buy regular cheese. But what I would say, you're buying an experience. You're buying an experience because our cheeses do not have any preservatives or artificial flavorings. Also, the farmers that we get our milk from, we actually go to where the farmers are. We go and make sure that they're following all of the Ministry of Agriculture guidelines. They have all their papers in order. So we make sure we have all of that. You know, when you're buying the cheese that's coming in from overseas, you don't know if the people went and check the farmers and see that, you know, that they're, you know, they're well kept and they have all the papers and everything. And as I said, you know what you're getting. Our cheese is as fresh as you can get it. And when you taste it, you can taste that you don't taste any preservatives or anything like that. So you're buying an experience. And you know, when you give your children the cheese, that your children, you know, they're not gonna, you know, have a adverse reaction to it.
Or 6 finger.
Right? So I would say, buy the cheese. It's an experience, you know. And as we know, goat cheese is very healthy for you as well, you know. So that's what I would say.
Here, here.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you didn't ask me to be an advocate. Like here.
No, but it is good for people to try new things. I like to go and try different things at different restaurants. I find that we inherently go to a restaurant and we end up ordering the same thing.
What's that, chicken?
Beyond the chicken, but whatever. We just order the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
We are not adventurous to say that, you know what, let's try something more exotic. I'm not trying like the elk or the ostrich or whatever, but it's just a bigger bird.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying. So a lot of people don't want to be too fancy and exotic in their tastes, and because we're not just automatically adventurous.
Okay, and that's fair, but I do like, one of the things I enjoy is having someone who's new to the wine experience come into any forum that I am present at, and I encourage them to try something even if they perceive that they don't or would not like it. And I like to see their faces when they try it for the first time. They go, oh wait, this is not as bad as I thought it was. And then, you know, if they ask what the price is and I tell them, they're like, oh, well, that's not bad. Because, and by those answers, you already know that they've assumed that it's going to be out their reach, that they assume that it's something that they would not like. So I always encourage people, if you have any opportunity, you go to any parties, fora, events where you can try wine, try cheeses, just try it. Especially if you don't have to pay for it, just try it. And sometimes you're pleasantly surprised that it's not what your mind conjured up. That is a lot better. And again, Michelle spoke about experiences. I think life is all about experiences. Try something new at least once. If you don't like it, at least you know you don't like it. But you wouldn't know you don't like it unless you try it, really.
And she's talking about wines and cheeses.
Yes, wines and cheeses, people. Keeping it
PG-13.
PG-13. There's no tea today, there's wine.
And I've had lots of other things in that teacup other than a good tea bag.
Tea? Oh boy.
But no, this was honestly very interesting because I wanted to know a little more about the cheeses and actually sample. I don't automatically go to the market and say, you know what, I want to buy a bunch of cheeses. Yeah. I don't really eat cheese like before, period. So if I go, I would. I see a cheese board, I would eat. But that's nothing that I'm going to say that I have to go and buy, because the other stuff just, when I go and push the trolley and I see one in the trolley and I realize the cheese is going to stay. Because the cheese is going to stay. Because the economy.
Just buy one cheese.
Yeah, just buy one.
One
No,
cheese.
and now that I've already tried it, I would. And if I do something that my mother, because I cook a lot for my mom, and so if I do something that I know she's going to like, she'll eat it. It's not that she will automatically gravitate to either. But I know that if I do that and I do it for her, she'll eat it. So yeah.
So we're going over by Greg's, because what he will do is get a selection of Hatchman's cheeses and prepare something very nice and exotic. And he'll take pictures.
I know, beat Denise here.
Or he will do something nice and simple that is everyday, that we can all grow some love and do very easily. And he'll put pictures and instructions, yes. And then I'll just suggest a wine that you can pair with it. And you know, we can start something big here, right? We're going to start something big. We're going to get everyone to do something different for 2018. Yeah. It's still a new year.
So you know what? That's what we will do. We will start a week of trying a wine and a cheese and doing a product and hashtagging your product and the end result and see. So we'll work on something that way. So a wine and cheese product, it doesn't have to be, it could be a hors d'oeuvre type thing.
Yeah. Because if we're going to tell people to try it, we have to give them some help as to how to try it and how to do it, you know. We're not just going to leave them in isolation. I'm going to get royalties for that one.
Yeah, we can get a lot from it. My spreadable tamarind cheese. And
yes. But that was mine. Okay, that's not yours.
Right. No, so in closing, is there anything you'd like to tell anybody before we go more about Hatchman cheeses?
I would say try it. It's a wonderful experience. You know, treat yourself for once, you know. Have a little treat there. Try it. That's all I would say about Hatchman cheeses. Just give it a chance. It's a Bajan product full of Bajan ingredients. You know, give it a chance. Basically what I would say.
And wines and...
Drink wine responsibly. and try different wines, you know. Let the world be your oyster. Try something different ever so often. We know that you like what you like, and it's all good. There's no best wine. Whatever makes you happy, is what you should drink. However, I still encourage you to try something new because you'll be pleasantly surprised that there's something else that you very much like. There you go. Sign off.
Yes, so thank you. And the tip for today, which is sponsored by Surfside and Fight Barbados, is if you have ever thought that you wanted to join a gym but weren't fit enough, think again.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm looking at the both of y'all.
Wait.
Shop around and find a club that has a wide variety of programming for all fitness levels and abilities. Also check that there's a certified staff on hand to show you how to start, where you're at, and your progress safely and effectively. High intensity hardcore programs give great benefits but also come with great risks for novice enthusiasts. So yes. So go out there and try. I always tell people exercise is, you want to enjoy the wines, you want to enjoy the cheeses and not feel as guilty. Exercise a little bit. And people, I hear a lot of people talking about the 10,000 steps, but the way they do the 10,000 steps, I'm like, you might gotta do 20. You might gotta do 30. Or the way people walk in the garrison, they walk like they're shopping through
They're
town.
trying.
They are, but you're not carrying your heart rate past that certain point to change anything about what you do on a daily basis. So go out there, try. And a lot of people who are bigger feel intimidated by the gym. Oh, people are gonna be watching me. Nobody doesn't care. It's about you. It's not about what anybody thinks. It's about your health benefits, and it's about the gains that you get from that and feeling better for yourself. So try Surfside, try Fit Barbados. They have a whole array of new programs, self-defense for women, boxing. I mean, so it's lots of stuff that you can actually go and try. So check Fit Barbados or Surfside for any programs, and Evie, George, anybody there to assist you. Amina, and we like to call her because she's just mean. No, she's just really tough. She doesn't make any sport when it comes to training. But if you want results, results, it is no pain, no gain.
Very true.
So, Denise, Michelle, thank you for joining me on Sit Time with
Wine
Teatime.
time.
And cheese.
and cheese on
of course,
Teatime with Greg. Thank you so much once again.
You're most welcome.
And in closing, I just want everybody to know that Teatime is a product and a show that is about the Barbadian experience. We want to showcase Barbadian talent, whether it's about a physical edible product or a service or an artist, a producer. It is all about the Barbadian experience and what Barbados has to offer. So feel free to email me and contact me about any product or service that you want to showcase on Teatime. I'll be more than willing to have you on. So join me next Thursday at 3 o'clock from any of the Standards distributors for more Teatime with Greg. Over and out.